There's something here on the channel that I would like to address today, and that is the frustration that I know a lot of you are having if you're trying to buy into my marketplace of Surrey, BC, or the whole Lower Mainland for that matter. The market is crazy and prices are rising faster than people can even believe. And those people include me. It's an emotionally draining process, specifically if you're offering on properties and then not in a position to either go do your due diligence in advance and go unconditional, or if you have put your best foot forward and put the best offers you can to the table and they still don't get accepted. And specifically if you've lost more than one or two offers. It's just depressing, tiring, and really demotivating. And now we're starting to hear what we do normally hear around the end of October or the beginning of November from a lot of our clients considering buying into the market. That's right. At this time of year, everybody starts to say those 8 little words, we are going to wait until the spring. Well, let me try and cheer you up a little bit with today's video and show you if that is a good strategy or not. But first, really quick before I do, I would love it if you could please subscribe to the channel if you would like to stay up to date on Surrey, BC, or Canadian real estate for that matter. If you have personal questions about your own real estate, please book a call with me right down below in the description. And you can also download our Informed Buyer's Guide, again, down below in the description. And with this being our final video for the month, this is the last time you're going to have to watch this. So I'm going to donate $1 during the entire month of October for any like that a video gets that's published within this month. All of that money is going to go directly to the Surrey Food Bank in replacement of our annual fundraiser that we normally would do, but we can't due to the virus. So if you want me to give $1 to the Surrey Food Bank up to $2,500, you can do so right now by clicking like on this video before October 31st. And if you yourself would like to donate to the food bank this year, you can do so down below using the link in the description. Thank you so much for helping me bring awareness to the Surrey Food Bank and those in need. Now back to the video. So I did want to thank you so much for hitting the like button on this channel. We will be announcing the total funds raised for the food bank within the next few videos. And now on to the video about whether or not it's better to wait until the spring to purchase your next home, first home, or investment property. In order to determine whether or not the fall now is better to buy or possibly the spring of 2022, what I did is I took historical data of the city of Surrey, basically the benchmark price of all product classes, as an overall look at the market. And then I compared the November of any given year to the following March, which is kind of the kick and the swing of the spring market. So as a baseline, way back in March of 2011, I found that the benchmark price across all asset classes in the city of Surrey was $451,000. Now in November of 2011, that price had jumped up to $463,000. So at that time, the market was rebounding from the 2008 crisis, and there were a lot of people that felt like maybe this isn't the best time to buy, so I'm going to wait until the spring next year. Well, in 2012, that price increased almost another $7,000 above $470,000. So in our first year, it was not actually better to wait because prices went up. In November of 2012, prices increased ever so slightly to $472,800. The following year, in March of 2013, we actually saw a decrease to $471,200. And 2013 was not a great year. November of that year, that number dropped again by almost another $1,000 to $470,000. But take a look at this. Just a few months later, in March of 2014, the price had jumped up $10,000 to $480,000. And this is when the market continued to kind of rock and roll for a little bit, because November of that year, that number actually increased again to $487,000. And if that market increased too much for you at that time and you decided to wait until the spring of 2015, you would then have paid $495,000. So far, out of the years that we've looked at, only one has actually reversed from the November to the following March. In fact, in 2015 is kind of when the market started to take off, and in November of that year, prices jumped to $545,000 as the overall benchmark price. But hold on to your hats, because just the next March in 2016, remember this was a crazy hot market, prices increased to just a hair under $603,000. This was actually a time just like now when the market went absolutely crazy. And people weren't expecting these high increases. But let's move now on to November of that same year. Between March and November, believe it or not, we saw a $100,000 increase, which is probably the largest increase we had ever seen in our marketplace, to $703,500. So at that time, a lot of people were considering, you know what, this is crazy. I'm going to wait until the spring. Well, the spring of 2017 had in store for them another $15,000 increase to over $719,500, causing more people over the summer to again feel frustrated. And by November, we're now at $835,500, more than another $100,000 increase. And I guarantee you, again, people at that time feel just like they do now. People in November 2017 stopped looking altogether, and they thought that they would wait for the spring of 2018 when prices rose to $897,800. Am I getting my point across? Well, not so fast, Steve. In 2018, the stress test was brought in, and it actually caused the market to reverse because people now had to qualify at a higher rate than they were actually getting. So November of 2018, prices actually corrected down to $876,700. So this is when everybody should be jumping into the market, right? Well, no, they didn't. In the following year, this is actually the best drop of all of them. 2019 was only the second year here in our example where the prices came down to $867,300. And they continued to fall all the way into the next November, where they hit $853,000. Just as a total side note, if this ever happens where you see these price decreases, don't wait. This is the time when you should be buying. And just to help prove me right, like I might know what I'm talking about, just the next spring. Remember, that's when COVID happened. Prices had skyrocketed again, up over $880,000. And as we all know, after lockdown and the pandemic, prices continued to rise. And November 2020, the market again was superheated, causing many people to bow out. Last November, prices were at $907,000. Again, this is across the entire city of Surrey, including all asset classes. And just to prove my point, prices this last March were up almost another $100,000 to $1,005,900. Now that's 10 years of statistical data that point to the fact that you will pay more next spring. So in a hot market, even though you feel like you want to bow out and that you're not interested in getting in, and hopefully down the road, the prices will come down. Statistically speaking here, if you're lucky, that happens once every 5 years. And looking at my notes, that's another 2 to 3 years away. And each year in between then, we're likely going to see increases. Meaning that if you leave it until the spring, there's very little, if any chance at all, that the market is going to get better or easier for you to purchase in. Hopefully what it does bring is a lot more variety to choose from. However, if you're waiting for prices to go down, I think you're actually quite ill-advised. So let me finish off by saying I totally understand that if you're in the position where you feel overwhelmed, we get it. We see it every single day. However, the best way to make money in real estate is to be in the market. If you're waiting around on the sidelines, you may be able to save a little bit of money. You're probably paying rent, but you may be able to save a little bit of money here and there, but you're never going to see the growth that the market will grow, even if you think that it's going to slow down, because your chances of timing the market are not very good. If you'd like to learn more about real estate in my marketplace of Surrey, BC, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button one more time for the food bank this month. Check out a playlist while you're here on the channel, and we'll see you in a couple of days.